Hello, welcome to the first episode of the Spooky Scary Show. I am Kath,
And I'm Chris.
and I don't know how you found this fucking thing, but welcome.
If you're our friend and we forced you to listen to it, congratulations. Here you
Enjoy
are.
the next however long this is. So we're your ghost hosts on this lovely adventure that we're embarking on. So the vibe of the podcast, first off, is like, how'd you explain it earlier? It's like,
If you listen to other true crime or paranormal podcasts like My Favorite Murder or And That's What We Drink, we're their little illegitimate child they don't know exists. So
yeah, so we're like
the low-rate version of them.
We're like the weird kid who like can't read the room. Like, have you ever wanted to go see a horror movie, but you're like, ooh, I don't want it to be, like, serious? That's the vibe, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, we're joined by our newly appointed producer, Lexi.
Hey guys, I'm just here.
She was appointed our producer
10
5
minutes ago?
seconds ago.
Yeah.
Or 10 minutes ago.
We're the production quality is really great, so
We're killing it.
we're killing it.
So, do you want to introduce yourself?
What do I say? Who am I?
Yeah, who are you as a person?
You're a Gemini, so
Yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know about me. I'm just a piece of trash.
Chris is a two-faced fucking Gemini.
Yeah. I love all of the spooky shit.
I was gonna say you're a doctor, but, like,
Not-
that statement will be true in, like, 5 years, right? 6 years?
7 to 10 years, I'll be a doctor. So, like, hit me up in 10 years if you think that's a good idea.
And then I don't know what I'm doing with my life, so...
You take pictures sometimes.
I do that, also. I have a YouTube channel.
Hell yeah. Shameless self-promo, bitches. First episode, we're already plugging our
You're plugging our
stuff.
socials.
Our stuff.
So anyway, do you want to just get into the spooks?
Hell yeah.
it's scary.
Our first episode is going to be our own experience with paranormal shit.
I don't think either of us have true crime experience.
No, I have not been murdered yet.
I have also not been murdered or
not
murdered
anyone.
Okay, well, I think the thing is, I feel like everybody's been involved in some sort of, like, ghost thing in their life, even if it's just, like, super minor. So...
Mine are, like, kind of major. Like, a ghost tried to kill me.
And then some people have, like, that kind of thing going on. Yeet. I mean, do you want to tell your story of ghost murder?
Yeah. Okay, so it wasn't, like, necessarily murder. He was just an ass. We're gonna assume he was a he because girls are nice.
You're gay.
Exactly. I said what I said. I'm the spike of my laugh. Okay. So when I was living in Tennessee, we had this house that was so haunted, but only my bedroom was haunted. Like, the rest of my house would not be affected. No one else would ever believe me. And one day I came home from school, and my whole entire bedroom was just flooded. Like, from my bathroom to the door of where my bedroom exits is flooded. Mm-hmm. No other part of my house was flooded. And, like, it was coming from the toilet that I hadn't used that day. No one had used the toilet, so it was just overflowing for, like, 6 hours. Like, standing water in my bedroom. And my dad was like, oh, maybe, like, the toilet just broke and flooded the whole entire room. But the water would not escape my room. Like, it wouldn't go out into the hallway.
Did you have, like, carpet? Or like?
Yeah, I had carpet. But, like, it was so much water. Like, there was water on top of the carpet. Like, it wasn't like the carpet was just soaked. Like, it was, like, standing water.
And it, like, wasn't going under the door crack?
No, like, it would just stay to the door.
That's crazy.
And my dad's like, oh, it's just physics.
We love physics, don't we, ladies?
And so I was like, sure, physics. But then, same house, same ghost. Like, the power went out one night, and I was little, and so, like, my first immediate thought was, like, oh my god, I'm fucking blind. And so, like, I was like, I gotta, like, leave my room. Can't be blind in my bedroom. And so, like, I got out of bed, and, like, in my brain, I was like, I know where the door is, and I never shut my door, so I'm gonna just sprint full speed out of my room. And so I go to do that, and something from underneath my bed grabs my ankle and, like, yanks me backwards, and I fall onto my face. And at this point, I'm like, hello? Who the fuck just touched me? And so, like, I'm screaming. Again, try to sprint full force into the open door.
All I'm thinking about is that vine of the girl where the water gets poured on her face and she's like,
hello? And then, I never shut my bedroom door. But the door was shut, and I ran full force into it, bounced off the door, like, and fell onto the floor. It was a whole thing. And, like, my dad walks into the room with a flashlight. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, I'm blind. I can't see. I had to get out of the room, and then a ghost grabbed me. And he was like, the power's out. You're a dumbass. There are no such thing as ghosts.
One time this is unrelated, but one time I ran headfirst into a, like, sliding glass door.
I've done that so many times, especially my neighbor got a glass door and didn't tell me. Like, I would always just go inside because we were, like, they're my neighbors. It was fine. And, like, I just went, like, running full force because I just loved to run full force into things as a kid, apparently. Don't know where that came from. I don't run now.
And that's why I will never
run again.
That's why I'll never run, but it's also why I think people shouldn't clean sliding glass doors because it's fucking dangerous.
But also grody.
Yes, but, I mean, fingerprints keep you alive. Because I think I got a concussion because I literally went, like, full force into this fucking sliding glass door. I was, like, on my ass, like, where the fuck? It was a good time. Anyway, that's not ghost related. I just thought I'd share.
And so finally, the lease was up in that house and we moved out of it, and the ghost stayed there, hopefully to haunt another fucking kid because I can't be the only one who was spooked out by them. And then I was living with my grandmother for a while, and it was like common knowledge that her house was haunted, but it was always a nice ghost. But like you could hear him walking around upstairs and like just chilling, like he would, just like you'd feel your bed sink down, and like he's like sitting on your bed. And at one point, like, I just saw, like, there was just a chair that was always in my room. I don't know where the fuck the chair came from. I woke up in the middle of the night, there's just a man sitting in my chair, like, wearing a suit, like, you know, just, like, he's like, what's up? And I was like, ah! Ghost! But then he went away, and he never tried to kill me, so that's good, I guess.
That's good. I hate when people
Ghosts
try to kill me.
I fucking hate when people just want to, like, murder me, you know?
Like, it's
so inconvenient.
Irritating. Is that your final ghost tale?
That I can think of now. I'm sure I'll remember another one as you're telling yours.
No, you're good. You can just interject whenever, because I don't have, like, one specific, like, I was attacked by a ghost story, but...
Oh, I saw a ghost at St. Augustine.
I have, like, a bunch of shit about St. Augustine.
Love St. Augustine.
Because I lived in St. Augustine for, like, 6 months when I was, like, probably, like... 8 years old, probably younger. No, I think I was like 5. I'm just like, I don't know how to. You know how when you're a kid, you like think you're a lot older than you are, but then like you're like, no, I was 2 years old.
Yeah, it's always like, oh, the other day, and then the other day was literally like 10 years ago, and you're like, oh, cool. What?
In my memory, I'm like 12, but I know like realistically, like following
like
the
4 years old.
timeline, I definitely was not that age. But anyway, so I lived in St. Augustine for a while when I was like little, but I remember I used to be like obsessed with they have like a lot of ghost tours in St. Augustine because it's supposed to be like the most haunted city in America or whatever. So there's one, you probably know it, maybe, I don't know. It's like one of the ghost stories that they tell on like the tours is that, you know how when you go to St. Augustine there's those two like big like it's like the gates to St. Augustine and it's like these two big like not statues, but it looks like pieces of an old fort kind of. So they have this story about this little girl named Elizabeth who died, like during the, I guess like, I don't know like what year, but like the yellow fever that was like spreading and like everybody died. And they say like if you go to St. Augustine, like under, like no matter where you're standing in St. Augustine, you're standing on like dead bodies because like so many people died from like yellow fever and the war and all that. But anyway, there's this little girl named Elizabeth who apparently died during that time of yellow fever, and they say that her ghost, like, people see her ghost all the time, like, just outside of those gates when you enter St. Augustine, and she's just, like, waving or sometimes, like, warning people not to go in because, like, they could get sick, or, like, not anymore, but, like, in her brain they could get sick or something like that. But this is... So I thought I saw her once when I was little. I might have been imagining that, but I went back to St. Augustine on a school trip once when I was like 12 probably, and while they were telling that story we saw like a figure going up the, like, main, like, part of the gate. And everybody was like, oh my god, it's the ghost, it's Elizabeth. But then they, like, shined a light on it, and it was actually a drunk man trying to scale the gates and get
Spoiler
to the
alert,
top.
it was actually just me.
Wow, I can't believe I met you way back then.
When I was, like, probably 2 years old.
2 years old and you were drunkenly climbing.
Yeah, no, sounds about right. It was because I was running away from the ghost that was haunting my bedroom.
Yeah, you ran all the way to St. Augustine.
Yeah, from Tennessee.
You were really spry for your age.
I just, like I said, I loved sprinting full force into things, and there was nothing for me to sprint into, so I just kept going. All the way to Florida.
Love that for you. And then, I didn't really have any, like, actual ghost experiences, though, in St. Augustine. I just kind of, like, kept convincing myself I did, because I was so, like, obsessed.
Like, that was a whole ass ghost, like, that was literally airy. Like,
no, like, literally,
ghost.
there would be, like, any movement, and I would be like, it's a ghost. But
me
there was also...
now in public.
Oh, wait, this is kind of unrelated, but at my middle school, there was, I went to a Catholic middle school, and a lot of the teachers were really weird because, like, it was a Catholic school, so they hire, like, weird, sketchy people sometimes.
Yeah.
And there was always this, like, weird truck parked right outside of the school. And I forget, like, what acronym it had on it, but it had, like, an acronym. And eventually some kid who I was friends with Googled the acronym, and they found this whole website dedicated to, like paranormal investigation in the area.
Fun.
And we did, like, some digging, and we found out that the website was owned and operated by one of the teachers at the school, and he would, like, use his keys to break into the school at night, and, like...
Is it really breaking into the school if you have keys, though?
I guess not, but he was just like the computer teacher or something. Like, he wasn't, like, a principal or something. But he would just go into the school at night and would, like, take pictures and was, like... So we saw all these, like, weird pictures of our school, like, at night on the website with, like, him being like, as you can see, there are orbs in the photo here. And yeah, that was the, like, weird thing. He never had, like, saw any actual ghosts, though. Like, he was just like, orbs. There's so many orbs in the school. But the school's built in, like, 2001. So I'm like, how many ghosts could there be? I think the thing was, it was in an area, I don't want to, like, say where we live, but, like, it was in an area where there had been a lot of, like, Native Americans at one point. So there was, like, a Native American burial ground,
always
like,
a
mile
idea.
away. We love a good old-fashioned Native American burial ground where the spirits are mad because we killed them. I didn't kill them personally, but...
I would hope not. I wouldn't be your friend anymore if you did.
I am, just for the record, against the killing of Native Americans.
Against the killing of people in general.
Yeah, well, most people. I'm gonna stop talking now. I think I'm incriminating myself.
This podcast is actually just gonna be evidence when we're in court later.
Oh no.
Me, Lexi, and a few of our friends, we went to the cemetery, or what was a cemetery? No, false. It wasn't a cemetery. Fuck.
We went to, like, 4 different places.
Yeah, and we tried to go to a cemetery, but they were all closed because apparently cemeteries have this fun rule where they, like, close at 7 p.m.
Yeah,
which
like,
is,
you
like,
can't
I didn't know
go
that.
ghost hunting at midnight in a cemetery. It's,
or, like, what if, like,
illegal.
I have a late job, but I really want to pay respects to a dead relative at, like, 2 a.m.
One time I filmed a short film at a Jewish cemetery.
That's where my people are.
So
Nobody seemed, like, mad.
It was supposed to be, like, one of the most haunted cemeteries in our area, and so we were like, ooh, spooky. But it was closed. So then we went to the site of it was a mental hospital. Then they turned it into a tuberculosis hospital for children, and then it became condemned. And a bunch of kids died there from tuberculosis, obviously. Because,
we love
like,
a condemned hospital.
And weren't there, like, experiments being performed on, like, the
it's
patients?
alleged. Like, there's been,
Allegedly.
there's, like, alleged, like, trial treatments and whatever.
Yeah.
Like American Horror Story Asylum.
Pretty much,
my
yeah.
goodness.
And so, like, they tore it down, and the creepiest part is it's now a playground. Like, this children's hospital where a bunch of kids died is now a playground.
Oh, it's so the ghost kids can play.
Yeah, well,
Oh, how cute.
we went there at, like,
Terrify us.
10 p.m.
Terrify us.
or later, and so we were, like, ready to see some spooks. And then we get there, and we have this, like, EMF, like, ghost radar app, and we're like, it's not gonna do anything. Like, it's gonna be just stupid, and it's, like, a prank. And at first it was, like, saying, like, a bunch of stupid words, like hot or cold or something like that.
I'm like, feet.
Yeah, and we were like, ooh, feet, how spooky. And then it said...
Maybe one of the ghost kids had to get their foot chopped off.
Ew.
Stop.
Maybe
Ew.
one of the ghost kids had to chop their own foot off, like in Saw.
Let's not think about that. And so we were gonna get out and go...
When the jigsaw comes to the tuberculosis hospital.
We were gonna get out of the car and go to the playground, and like, because it was said if you sit on the swings, like, somebody will push you, and like, you can hear like disembodied children's laughter, and we're like, ooh, that sounds fun. And
That's sweet of them.
Right?
To, like, push you on the swing.
Yeah,
like, what if you're going alone, you're having a bad day, and you really just need somebody to push you, like,
You can
off
hang
the
out
cliff.
with some dead kids.
So we were playing with the app before we got out of my car just to, like, see if it would work, and we're like, oh, he's saying a bunch of stupid stuff, like, it's not a big deal, it's nothing. Mm-hmm. And then it said doctor, and we're like, oh, that's spooky. And then it said experiment, and so you're like, that's creepy.
Don't love that.
We should go. And I'm not the safest driver ever, as anyone who has ever ridden in my car will say. But at that moment, my car has never moved faster in a small parking lot. We just had to leave immediately.
Skirt.
Literally skirt. That we had to leave immediately, and then like the whole way until we got on the highway, the like ghost app kept like saying there was like a ghost in our car with us, like one of the kids that like followed us.
Like one of the kids were like, road trip.
And we were freaking out, and it kept saying like a bunch of weird stuff. And so we were like Googling how to get spirits to leave us alone, and we were like begging and pleading, please leave us alone, please go away, you're not welcome here anymore.
I offered to come with my tarot cards so we could communicate with them.
Yeah, and then we would have literally... Tarot cards you had just gotten 2 days ago, mind you.
Yeah,
we
I
would have
was like,
actually died.
Let's do it.
So, eventually the ghost left our car, but it was a very terrifying time. And sometimes I still believe I brought one home because my cats will just freak out for no reason.
Yeah, I
Cats
didn't sleep
do
that
that.
night, so...
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it was a good
I
time.
think I was at home. Because you guys were texting me and I was like, ooh, sounds spooky. I'm going to eat some mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese would have been so much more fun than a haunted children's hospital.
Speaking of children, we love a segue.
We love a good segue.
Most of my like spooky stories were like when I was a kid, which might be because children are not good at understanding what's happening around them, so they make up stories to justify what's going on. But
And it's said that children are more susceptible to ghosts.
I prefer to believe that it is just true. It's the truth tea.
Ew.
I hated that I just said that. Anyway, so the only like ghost experience I had as a kid was shortly after my grandma died. My grandma had given my dad these like wind chimes that we have like hung up outside of our house, and he likes to say that when the chimes go, it's because it's like his mom trying to talk to us, which is normally really sweet because like a lot, and I believe it because a lot of the times they like start chiming when there's literally no wind. Like they'll just be like going, and I'm like, there's no like logical way this would be happening unless like there's no logical way, so it has to be a dead
Ghosts.
person. But there was this one night where I was trying to go to sleep and I could like hear the wind chimes. But then I also started like I play guitar, so I had a guitar like leaned up against the wall in my bedroom, and it started strumming, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, I was like 6, so I didn't say what the fuck, but I was like, question mark? And then do you have like sleep paralysis ever?
I have a few times.
It happens to me a lot because I have like insomnia. So there was like, I don't know if this was like related to that or what, but I have this like memory of seeing like a shadow of like a man in a top hat in the corner of my room. And that might have been like, because when you have sleep paralysis, people say it's like shadow people. And I don't remember if I was having sleep paralysis at that time because I was a kid. I know I do now, but it might have been that, or maybe it was a ghost shadow. Who knows?
All three.
I do, however, think my sister was abducted by aliens.
I remember you telling me this story, yeah.
Okay, So I'm going to tell you again.
Okay, good.
And also Lexi, because you haven't heard the story about how my sister was probably abducted by aliens.
I'm confused.
This is an amazing story. I love it. I forgot most of the details, so I'm sure I'll still be just as shocked when you say it again.
Let's go.
Ready? Okay.
So my sister is almost 7 years younger than me. I turned 7 like a month after she was born. So I was probably like 8, almost 9 at this time, and she was little. And I remember, first of all, she was a super annoying baby.
Same.
And she would cry 24/7, and I hope she's listening to this podcast because I just want her to know how annoying she was to me.
Still is.
Anyway, so my parents, let me give you a visual of my house growing up. We had like a living room and a dining room and then a kitchen, like most people do.
Like most houses.
I was explaining it with my hands, and then I remembered this is a podcast. But there are no walls like separating it. It's like an open floor plan, so like the living room blends into the dining room, blends into the kitchen. And then along the wall of like all of them is just like glass windows, so you can see out onto like the pool and the porch area from like the kitchen, living room, and dining room. So anyway, my parents were like, we have to go outside and move furniture. And I was like, okay.
As one does.
As one does. And I was like 8, and they were like, watch your sister, who was a baby. Well, like, she was a baby, but she wasn't an infant. Do you know what I mean?
She was a toddler.
Yeah, she wasn't walking yet. I'm really bad at, like, guessing how old babies are. Like, I'll see, like, a 5-year-old, and I'll be like, are you 10? I don't know.
Are you 10?
Anyway, so she was, like, I don't know, what's, like, 18 months?
Sure, that works.
Sure, let's say that. She had hair, I remember. If that
Some
means
babies have hair
anything to
after
you.
birth, right
God
after birth.
Damn
So like,
it.
no.
Weird story about her. I'm sorry, I'm segueing. So my sister's name is Kira, which literally translated means the dark one.
Oh, good.
When she was born, she looked Asian. She had black hair. She was born with black hair. For reference, my dad has light brown hair and my mom is blonde. So this baby is born with black friggin' hair, like jet black. I literally was like, Mom, you brought home the wrong baby, I'm sorry. And they were like, no, we promised we didn't. And I was like, she does not look related to you. I just would like you to know that. Did you have an affair, Mom?
Did one of you have an affair? Specifically, Mom. No, your dad had an affair, and that's why you have a different sister.
Wow. But then...
Genetics.
But then all of her black hair fell out and blonde hair grew in. So
Good.
now she looks like the rest of the family. Anyway.
It's because she was adopted by aliens.
No, that was unrelated. She had blonde hair at this point in time.
Damn.
Anyway, so my parents went outside to, like, move the furniture. So my sister was crying like she did because she just did that all the time. And I was like, hold on, I'll go get you juice. I was looking at her crying. She was crying at, like a consistent pace. I turn around, grab a cup that had, like a sippy cup, put the lid on, and then turn back around. Think of how many seconds that probably takes. Like, 5? And during the time I was still listening to her, her, like, pitch of crying didn't change at all. Like, it was the same throughout. It didn't, like, I didn't hear any sounds. And she was just, like, when I turned around, she was just sitting on the floor crying. Because she just whined a lot. So it didn't sound like it, like, turned into, like, bad crying or anything. It was just, like, the same kind of, like, I'm an annoying baby and I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have to over-explain this because to this day my parents don't believe me. I turn back around and I look at her and she's on the floor in the exact same position she was before, but she's covered head to toe in blood. I start screaming because I'm 8 years old, I'm watching this child for 2 seconds and she's covered in blood. And I start banging on the glass doors because my parents are outside, and I'm screaming and banging on the glass doors. I was literally turned around for 5 seconds and she didn't move the whole time. I still am so confused. They come in, they're freaking out because their infant, well, she's not an infant, their baby is covered in blood. They take her to the hospital, whatever. They find out she has this tiny, tiny little cut right next to her eye. Like, I'm trying to explain because this is a podcast. Like, on the corner of her eye near her temple, there's, like, a tiny but very deep cut that just, like, spilled blood all over her. And they said if it was, like, even, like, a millimeter more towards her eye, she would probably be blind in that eye. And nobody can explain, like, how she got cut. Because they think, the doctors were like, did she have, like, a knife? Or...
Yes, I gave my 18-month-old
like,
baby a knife.
A shard of glass or something. And my parents were like, maybe she hit it on... the window had, like, a little sill, and I was like, y'all, I'm telling you, she did not move positions. She was just sitting in the middle of the floor, and then all of a sudden she was covered in blood. So I think people have said that when they get abducted by aliens, they feel like hours pass when they're being abducted, and then when they come back down, it's like no time has passed. So I think she was abducted by aliens. They did some weird alien stuff. Maybe they accessed her brain by her temple. I don't know the details.
I'm not an alien.
I'm not an alien, so I wouldn't know. They really, honestly, it's kind of rude they didn't clean her up before sending her back. And then they put her back, and then I discovered her bloody body.
Still alive. She's still alive.
She's fine. She's good. She's 13 now. No, she's 14. She's 14 now, living her best life. But, yeah, and my parents were mad at me for a very long time because they were like, you're so irresponsible. They literally assumed that I just, like, walked away and was, like, gone for, like, 30 minutes because they're like, how else would that have happened? And I was like, y'all, I was turned around for 0.2 seconds. But anyway, that's the story of how my parents lost trust in me.
Good.
But that has to be aliens, right? Like...
Or a ghost. Maybe a ghost just stabbed your sister in the head.
Maybe. Maybe it was, the man with the top hat.
The man with the top hat did it, yep.
That's the only logical explanation.
It's canon. He stabbed your sister in the head.
Rest in peace.
Your sister or the man with the top hat? Both.
Both.
One of them is not dead.
He possessed her.
And she stabbed herself in the head.
Maybe.
Or maybe he was
I can't
shot
ask her because she was 18 months at the time and she has no memory of this.
And she's just like, you're just fucking insane. I was never possessed by a ghost.
No, she literally is like, I've told her before, I've been like, because my dad told her, she was like, oh, that one time that you almost died because your sister wasn't watching you. And she was like, I can't believe you almost let me die. And I was like, listen, you were abducted by aliens. I'm sorry I have to be the one to inform you about this, but that's what happened.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is proof that aliens exist.
If the fact that we live in a gigantic universe and we can't be the only life forms isn't enough to prove to you that aliens exist, take this story of how my sister randomly started.
If we are that self-centered to believe that this planet is the only one that holds life forms, use this story instead to change your beliefs.
The story that really doesn't have any evidence.
Because sisters get abducted.
It still doesn't make sense. Like, I am 21 years old and I still don't have any logical explanation of how she randomly got... Because it was a very deep cut. Like, she was covered in blood.
I mean, also your head is very vascular, so it could be a really, like, minuscule cut and you'd still bleed a lot.
I remember it being really deep, though, because she had to get, like, a bunch of stitches. Or maybe I was 8 and don't have a good memory. Who
Possibly.
knows?
Well, because, like, medically speaking, your head is extremely vascular, and
oh, yeah,
so,
you're
like,
a doctor.
Sometimes. And so, even the smallest of cut can have, like, a lot of bleeding, especially in a child, and so it looks a lot scarier than it is, and a lot of times, like facial lacerations don't even need stitches, and if they do, it's, like, 1 or 2.
Yeah, it was terrifying, though. I literally was like, oh my god, Carrie is in my friggin'
Maybe she just punched
kitchen.
herself in the face really hard and, like, scratched her with a fingernail.
She could have. She's a Leo. That's something she would do.
Very Leo. Fucking hate Leos. Sorry.
She was like, nobody's paying attention to me. I know how to fix that.
Sorry if you're listening to this and you're a Leo, but you're just a very bad person. I want you to know that.
It's okay, though, because this is coming from the mouth of a Gemini, so...
Ooh, listen, Geminis
take it with a grain of salt.
Geminis are great. They're very misunderstood. We're very compassionate and smart and hardworking and driven, but you know what? You can focus on the fact that I'm two-faced, but I'll just say those two personalities get more than your one will ever do. So, thank you.
You know I'm sensitive. I'm a Cancer.
That is true.
Anyway, moving on from that little segue we have, I know nothing about...
We should do an episode about astrology.
I know nothing about astrology.
I don't either.
Oh my goodness, I know so much. I've been researching.
Oh my gosh, I'll bring my tarot cards. I've had them for more than 2 days now, so I can actually, like, do readings.
But with that being said, do you have any more to talk about?
I don't know. I wanted to talk more about sleep paralysis, but
We could do an episode about sleep paralysis and, like, spooky, like...
yeah. But if you
I
haven't,
have fun sleep paralysis stories.
do you?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell your sleep paralysis story?
Oh my goodness.
Right now?
Basically. Whoa.
Does that fit the story of our own paranormal experiences?
I mean, it's Lexi's paranormal experience.
I have a paranormal experience about the ghost that tried to kill me in my room.
Oh, yeah.
There's that.
Okay, well, I guess we're doing a whole episode on sleep paralysis.
I
so-
think that'd be really fun.
Have you ever
Stay
had sleep
tuned.
paralysis?
Yes,
though?
we talked about that like 2
Oh, I
minutes
thought
ago.
you said a couple times, and like.
Yeah, I have it. I have had it a few times.
Oh, okay.
But like, there's also like the subreddit where like it's just a bunch of people who like post like their sleep paralysis experiences. So we could like read some of those too.
Spooky.
Anyway, a ghost tried to kill you.
Oh yeah, a ghost tried to kill me.
Not clickbait.
Not clickbait.
Emotional. Lighthearted.
So basically, this is also the story of how my dog developed severe anxiety.
This is the time that I found out I have dyslexia.
I like
So,
how you
like-
said that incorrectly. Like,
Yeah.
on top of it.
That was the point.
I'm so sorry to Fetch. Love you.
Our
I'm so sorry you have to have severe anxiety now. Because
Me
of
to
this.
me.
So basically, there was this one night I was in my room and like, okay, so I had this weird little like thing hanging from my fan, and I don't know why it was there. When I was younger and cleaning my room, my mom made me clean my room, and my mom was like, you need to find a place for everything, and I was like, everything, Mom? And so like I picked up like this thing that was literal trash and tied it to my fan. Because I was like, ha, that'll show her. And, like, it's still there to this day.
Of course
We
it
love
is.
that for me. But anyways, there was, like, this string attached to it. And it was right between my light bulbs. So this one night, I was, like, every night that week leading up, I would see it, like, sway. And I was like, that's cool, but my air conditioning vent is, like, on the opposite side of where that is. So, in my head, I was like, it's the air conditioning. It's fine. No big deal. But obviously I knew that that was not accurate because the air conditioning was not pointed at where that little string was. So, this one night in particular, this string is going wild. Ham. Like, full silent disco. Like, it is swinging. And
Full silent disco.
You know, like, when you're going hard at a silent disco?
Oh, I love a good silent disco.
Same, honestly.
So, it's swinging. And my dog is sleeping with me, and I'm like, I'm gonna be calm. It's fine. Because in my head, I was like, if something was here, my dog would freak out. And my dog was sleeping and not protecting me, but that's fine. So, I'm watching this thing swing, and I'm like, this is really
From the
fucking-
chandelier.
Not from my fan, because I'm not
Goddess.
rich. So
So you're not Sia, is what you're saying.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Not.
damn,
Or
okay.
Maddie Ziegler, either. I'm watching it swing,
Then
and
why
I'm
are
like,
you here?
I don't even know.
We wanted Maddie Ziegler for the podcast.
Yeah.
But
and
she
then
turned us down, so
so-
Lexi was our next best option.
Yeah.
Actually, a few other people turned us down too, but
So I'm like 7th on the list.
yeah.
You're lucky to have me. But so I'm watching the swing, and I'm sleeping, or not sleeping, but like I'm trying to fall asleep, and my dog is sleeping next to me, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. And I'm like trying to fall asleep, and I hear my dog start crying, just out of nowhere, and I'm like, Fetch, what are you doing? And I like look up, and originally my dog was like on my bed, but he was at my door like pawing to get out of my room, and I was like, you know, in hindsight, I should have, like, saw that and been like, I need to leave this room
Probably.
and not come back. But your girl did not do that. So I let my dog out because I was like, Fetch, you're annoying me and I need to go to bed. I have to wake up tomorrow.
I love that your dog is in bed.
That's my favorite part of the story.
Yeah, he's everything. But anyways, so, like, I open the door, I let him out, and I'm like, whatever, this is fucking annoying. And when I go to close the door, like, slams. And I'm like, the wind?
The wind?
I love when the wind is in my bedroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Slamming my doors.
So I went and I go and I lay down on my bed and I'm like, time to go to bed. And I start like trying to fall asleep. And suddenly I feel something like holding down my arms.
Cute.
And I'm like trying to lift them too. And like, not that I couldn't lift them, but like it was hard to lift them. And I was like, what is happening right now? Am I dying? And
Are you sure you weren't asleep? Because that's what happens to me when I get sleep paralysis.
I was not asleep. I do know that I was not asleep. So, like, my arms go, like, heavy, and I, like, cannot, like, lift them at this point. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what the fuckity fuck is happening right now? And so I'm, like, still kind of being, like, maybe my arm fell asleep. I'm just gonna try to go to bed. So I'm still trying to go to bed. At this point, I really should have just got up and left. And I just feel something, like, grab my neck. And I'm like, ow. So I feel this thing, and at this point, the thing on my fan is literally, like, in circles, like, tornado, like, going fucking ballistic. And I'm like, I need to get out of here. So I, like, got up, and I ran out of my room, and I go and I wake up my dad, because I'm 5 years old. I'm not actually, just...
No, you are.
Welcome to our podcast. We're here with a 5-year-old.
We are all toddlers.
So I go and I wake up my dad, and I'm telling him, and he's like, Lexi, literally shut up, sleep on the couch. It's fine. And I'm like, Dad, for real. It is haunted. My room is haunted. Get me out of here. And he's like, Lexi, sleep on the couch. I'm going to bed. It's 2 a.m. Go to bed. And I'm like, fine. And I was wearing a long sleeve shirt because it was cold in my house that night for some random reason.
Because of ghosts.
Because of ghosts, for real. And so in my living room, it's like hotter. It's always hotter in my living room anyways, to be fair. Just like the rooms in the back where my bedroom and my brother's bedroom and everything are, they're like colder. So I go into my living room and I'm wearing this long sleeve shirt, and I'm like, it's hot now. So I go to roll up my sleeve, and there are scratches on my arm. Like, fully scratched. And I wake up my dad again, and I go, explain! He's like, you scratched yourself. And I was like, no, I didn't! And I'm, like, yelling at my dad, like, hysterical crying. Aww. And he's like, Lexi, go to bed. And then I went to bed. And the next day I just went in my room, and I was like, hey, ghost, leave. And then sometimes my fan still swings a little bit, and I get really scared, and then I go sleep on the couch right away. I've learned my lesson. But now my dog has severe anxiety.
Aw, poor
Ever
bitch.
since that day, he's been like, nope.
And this is the story of how my dog got anxiety. My dog has abandonment issues.
Me too. Your dog ain't special. Sorry, dog.
My dog is the most special.
Yeah.
No, but I don't...
All dogs are special. All dogs go to heaven.
Yeah,
Stop
well...
that.
2.
Some dogs...
Go to hell.
One time a pug puked on me.
Did you deserve it?
No. I've been very anti-pug since that moment.
I mean...
I'm sorry if I offended all the pug lovers out there. I'm sure they're lovely, but one time one puked on me, so...
Pugs are cute, but they're actually trying to make it illegal to breed them. Because
I think
they
it
have
should be
so
because-
many health problems.
Yeah, because they're being, like, inbred.
Yeah, and
Their faces aren't supposed to be squished in like that.
Yeah, they can't breathe. They all have, like, asthma and shit.
This is what we call a tangent, ladies and gentlemen.
Fuck pugs, apparently. That's the moral of the story.
Fuck pugs.
Don't not like with your penis, but
Wow,
We
that's
are-
so sexist. A woman could fuck a pug if she wanted to.
No, she
shouldn't.
couldn't.
She should not either. Just going on the record that we are very against bestiality on this show.
We are also feminists, but we don't think that women or men should fuck pugs.
Very that.
Or ghosts.
Or ghosts. Ghosts should not fuck pugs either.
Oh, well,
I thought you were talking like men and women shouldn't fuck ghosts.
That's probably what she meant.
I mean, I guess you could fuck a ghost if they're consenting.
If you're saying
Have you not seen American Horror Story?
I have. Oh, yeah, maybe don't fuck a ghost.
You will give birth to the Antichrist.
I mean,
Spoiler alerts if you haven't watched all of American Horror Story.
Well, you only
And
really
ghosts,
need to watch the
so.
first season to get that.
Yeah, well, like, then you come
I haven't watched any of the newest
I
seasons.
haven't
Neither have
watched any of American Horror Story. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry, you're actually not fired from my producer now. Bye.
And
Get out.
I hope you guys enjoyed having Lexi on the podcast. She'll never be here ever again.
We don't know who she is anymore. She's just not even our friend anymore.
Who's Lexi?
Can we still go to Moe's after, though?
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, no, we need burritos.
Okay, so I think that's the end of
Episode 1.
episode 1. I hope you guys enjoyed.
And if
whatever.
you didn't, fuck you. Keep listening anyway, because we need people listening to it.
That's true. We're trying to get those, like, sponsorships and shit.
Listen, we're both poor college students / almost graduated college students.
Yeah, I'm about to graduate, and I don't
And I'm about to move
have
across
a
the country,
career.
so we need money.
I've been watching a lot of Parks and Rec. I'm sorry if I keep singing things.
I mean, that's a valid thing to
I really
say.
like. Well, I don't really like John Ralphio, but sometimes I turn into him. I used to take. You know how? I'm sorry, I'm going on another tangent. You know how there was like a phase where people were very interested in like personality tests. I used to, whenever I would take like a Parks and Rec personality test, I would always get John Ralphio. And
That's fitting.
at first, I was always like, I'm offended. I'm not fucking John Ralphio. But the older I get, the more I'm like, I'm John Ralphio.
You're
Yeah.
like, I'm the worst.
I'm the worst.
All right, well, that's Kath,
That's Chris.
and this is our podcast. So, thanks for listening. If you made it this far, if you didn't, fuck you.
Maybe at some point in the future we'll actually have an outro, but for right now,
We have our mouths.
I don't know what that means. But it's been real.
We'll have social media at some point, probably. Follow it when we do.
Stay spooky, y'all.